AEW's Fight for the Fallen is this Saturday, and it's a noble cause, I feel, because all the proceeds would go towards the victims of gun violence, whether that be in the military, whether that be just a school shooting, whether that be anything, especially these days where there is a fight for our Second Amendment rights, and I'm not going to go into that in this thing because that's a whole different discussion for a different time. But there are victims of this. Think of Columbine. Think of any school shooting within the past 6 months, or even less than that, because it feels like it happens almost every day, unfortunately. But it's for a good cause. We're not going to go into politics and all this bullshit. It's fucking wrestling. Let's just go with the fucking wrestling. First of all, the pre-show match, which is only one apparently this time, which I'm okay with. It's just it's just something we're not used to with AEW, because you have maybe 3 or 4. The last time you had 2 for Double or Nothing, and then you just have the one, which is okay. I have nothing, and it's a great match. I have nothing wrong with this at all. Jimmy Havoc, Darby Allin, and Joey Janela face MJF, Sammy Guevara, and Shawn Spears. Guevara, you might remember on Lucha Underground for a little bit, and of course, we cannot forget Shawn Spears and that fucking chair shot that we saw. I have no problem with it personally. Again, I have to stress that again. I had no problem with the chair shot at the last show. And obviously, of course, the one time you gimmick a chair is the time it has what happened to Cody, and we'll get to that in a little bit. Because there is that doubt of concussion and all that. But, of course, the one time you gimmick a chair, this happens. But there's nothing wrong with that. Of course, since the Benoit incident, we haven't really seen chairs to the face. We've probably seen them thrown Sabu style more than actually pouring on just bashing a chair at somebody. Because at least you could protect it when you see it flying towards you. It makes more sense. Apparently, it's wrestling, so who gives a fuck, right? But again, I would have put Shawn Spears on the main card to forward that unless you do something. And of course, Darby Allin, that incredible match with Cody, barring the chair shot, of course, was incredible. If you haven't seen Darby Allin before then, you're invested in the man now, because he took Cody to the absolute limit, for sure. I really don't know with this team. I will pick Darby Allin's team because Darby Allin really showed me something on the last show. And MJF can just... He doesn't even have to be pinned here. Someone else can get pinned. He can still do the undefeated thing. I like MJF. He's probably one of the best heels right now in this business. And of course, we'll go through the rest of the card. This is not in any particular order. We're just going to go through it just for the hell of it. SCU, of representing by Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky, and Christopher Daniels will be ringside, so the SCU trio will be in effect against the Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr., and Rey Fenix. Of course, you've seen them in MLW, you've seen them in Lucha AAA, Lucha Underground, everywhere. They're incredible. Impact for a little while, and of course AEW for the past few shows. I will pick the Lucha Brothers because it feels like SCU is on a losing streak, and it's unfortunate because they're great, but they're not really there to just put themselves over. It's just to help the younger guys in this case. Even though I feel the Lucha Brothers have probably been in longer than Scorpio Sky, I feel, but nonetheless. Next up, Adam Page versus Kip Sabian. Sabian's here, of course, for the ITV deal, and Adam Page is just still building momentum for his world title match at All Out. Page wins. It's just simple booking. Just have momentum for the world title match, because we haven't seen Jericho since Double or Nothing. So you got to keep that going somehow. Next up, Cody and Dustin Rhodes, the Road Brothers, ride again against the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. Of course, like I said before, Cody, you have to think about the chair shot again, because as gruesome as it was, as for those people that are more sensitive and people that haven't seen it in maybe 10 or 15 years. It's probably been less than that, but I would say 10 years is a good estimate unless you've seen like hardcore shows or indie shows or something in Japan or Mexico or something where they might not really care at that point and might still do it. Not saying that that's the case, but I would probably see it in Japan or in Mexico than in the States, just because of the Benoit incident, which we will not discuss because that is fucking terrible. It's a simple thing. The Rhodes win just because, it's a great story. It has to happen. It probably won't happen, but that's what I'm going with here because it makes sense to me. Next up, Kenny Omega versus CIMA. CIMA was really impressive on the last show, and of course Omega was as well, but I will pick CIMA for the upset. It's probably not the right decision, but that's what I would do personally if I was booking this show. And finally, Brandy Rhodes versus Allie. Brandy, of course, being the executive of the women's division, has had a problem with Allie over the past few weeks. And Allie, of course, winning against the Librarian, accompanied by the Librarian, which is a thing. But, Allie wins. It's very simple. Allie gets that momentum going. Probably Brandy uses Kong to screw her over, but I will pick Allie to win this. And with that being said, Fight for the Fallen is this Saturday. A great night of wrestling, a great weekend of wrestling yet again. I mean, we've had this almost every week where we've had a show or a pay-per-view back-to-back. And it's wonderful to see that happening again in wrestling, for sure.